here we go then. Episode 1, Series 1, and this is the Sales and Marketing for Decorators podcast. Today I am joined by Trevor Mangan. How are you, mate?
I'm all right. How are you?
A smashing time, mate. Absolutely buzzing. Don't know what's going to happen with this, but I'm excited to see what we're going to do.
We'll just have to see, won't we? You know, it's the blind leading the blind.
So, general outline for the show, so that everybody knows, is each week we're going to tackle a different sales and marketing question. I've roped Trevor in to do hopefully at least 6, maybe 10 episodes or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's the first you've heard of it, but yeah, you're doing that for me. So that's series 1. And yeah, so each week we're gonna take a question that decorators have about sales and marketing, bounce off each other, and see what we come up with. I've just noticed you've got my book in the background. That's very nice of you putting that product place in there.
Yeah, and I've just noticed you've got your book in the background too.
Mate, product placement. This is all good quality content for anyone listening on the podcast.
Exactly. Yeah, gives them a good excuse to go to YouTube and watch it.
Exactly right. Straight in there with the plugs. Trev, right. Question for the day then. LinkedIn for decorators. How can decorators use LinkedIn? Should they be using it? Is it any good? Tell me, what do you think about it?
I've got LinkedIn. Never really sort of concentrated on it too much. Don't seem to be able to get any traction with it really. A bit like Twitter. It's not I've never found it the best. It's more business to business, isn't it? That's what I'm led to believe. And also, it's not that visual, whereas Instagram seems to work a lot better. I know LinkedIn have just brought out, they were trying to compete with Instagram with Reels, not Reels. They've got the equivalent, haven't they, of
stories,
like a story.
Put on, yeah. All of them seem to be going down the same sort of track of what sort of features they've got on there. LinkedIn, yeah, for me it was always the professional network, and it was all for business to business. But I think it's definitely changing. LinkedIn's growing massively at the moment, and I think out of all the social media networks, I get more decorators connecting with me on LinkedIn now than any other platform. So people are coming to it in their droves, and I think, yeah, maybe it's not as visual as Instagram, but you can still put images and videos and stuff like that on there, and I think it's very much like with Facebook. People say that people can say, "Oh, Facebook's not great for getting leads and stuff like that," but everybody's on Facebook, and almost everybody's on LinkedIn nowadays as well. So all the right customers are there. It's just understanding the platform a little bit and working out how to get in front of them, I think. So what's your experience been with it? Have you been posting regularly on there and not getting anything back?
Well, I think my problem is I've been using it like I would Instagram, and I think there's a different technique that you have to use. I don't think you can use the same. I don't think you can post the same on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok or whatever. I think there's sort of different nuances. Good word.
Nice.
For different social media platforms. Would you agree or not?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're 100% bang on. It's every social media platform's got like its own culture. So Instagram is the very arty and funny in a way. There's lots of like memes and stuff like that. Creative, definitely. Facebook, you can put like a long text post on there, just like a massive rant or something like that, and people will read it. But if you put that on Instagram or LinkedIn, nobody would read it. So Facebook has got its own place and its own personality. Yeah, LinkedIn is different again. I know, looking at all the stats for it, that it is, although people are starting to look at it in evenings and weekends as well, so nearly all of it is between 9 and 5, Monday to Friday. So you need to be posting in that time frame if you want to get the most out of it. I think it's people will have LinkedIn just open on a separate tab on their internet browser just as they're sat at work, and they might just check it every now and then. It's there's a place for it, and it's certainly, for me, I don't think it's business to business completely anymore. You've got to remember that all of your potential customers, well, a lot of them certainly, might be professional.
Oh God, innit? It's just like 2 decks, 1 mic.
You're bringing that level of class to it with the phone ringing.
You're trying to be so proud.
Oh.
Well done, Dad. You've not let me down. You're still a dick.
Good man.
Oh, God, dear, oh dear.
Yeah, so
No.
I think you've got to understand how to talk on the platform. You couldn't, the way that you post things on Instagram and the way you post on Facebook, you've got to be talking in a different tone when you're on LinkedIn. But I'm sure that the people are there, and out of all the platforms, it's growing really fast. So I think it's something that decorators really need to be looking at.
So how would you approach LinkedIn then? Instagram, I know, pretty much before and after shots of rooms, painting, whatever. Would that transfer over to LinkedIn, or would you have to approach it in a bit more of a business sort of mind, bit more of a business attitude, or?
I think.
How would you generate interest on LinkedIn? Is basically.
I think posting on a consistent basis is number one. You need to be putting content out there. I'm sure I put in one of my blogs that only 4% of people on LinkedIn actually post content. So when you post content on LinkedIn, you're like right to the top of LinkedIn's favorite people, because obviously the platform relies on its users to generate all the content.
Yeah.
So if you do that and you start generating that content and putting it on there on a consistent basis, you do get rewarded by a lot of people seeing it. So Facebook, as you'll know, if you post something on your Facebook business page, like, it gets no views. Facebook just don't show it to anybody unless you pay them, and they can do that because they're Facebook and everybody's on there.
Yeah.
LinkedIn aren't in that position at the moment. So if you post something on your LinkedIn, they show it to loads of people, like hundreds, and you can easily get thousands of views on LinkedIn because just not enough people are posting stuff on there. So that's number one, is be consistent, and you can't just start putting a couple of posts on once or twice a week and then in 2 weeks time go, this is a load of shit, don't work. You need to be posting like 2 or 3 times a week for several months and just watch it build and watch it go up. And then number two, in the tone and the way that I think you've got to deliver the message. I think people are on LinkedIn are more interested in, give me the facts, let me learn about this, give me the top 10 list of this, or the 5 reasons to do that sort of thing. They don't want to hear like your personal dramas and your moaning and your rants and stuff like that. They don't want to hear about you talking about paint that's cracking over cork. They want to understand, right, what should I be looking for when I hire a decorator, top 10 tips, and just give them that information that they can just read in bite-sized chunks because they've got 5 minutes free while they're sat at their desk or they're on a lunch break or whatever it might be. You got to think about who is looking at LinkedIn throughout the day.
That was going to be my exact next question. What content do you need to be, putting on there to attract the sort of people that you want to attract? That's, I think,
first thing you got to do is identify who is that person who's looking at your content. Who are you aiming this at? So if you're a decorator and you're going, right, I want to aim this at 40 to 50-year-old professionals, and you need to start thinking, right, every bit of content that I post has got to be something that a 40 to 50-year-old professional would be interested in looking. And what do they want? They want bite-sized chunks of information that can save them money or help them complete a task easier or something like that. I think it's a lot more cold and clean cut business like on LinkedIn, definitely still. So you don't need to go with all this flowery stuff.
Yeah.
Get to the point and just deliver the people the value, and just see what happens and just be consistent with it.
Yeah, there is also the option, I suppose, to target more commercial work, interior designers, architects, I suppose, those sort of people as well, isn't there? Again, it goes back to what you've always said about finding your ideal customer, innit? Get your ideal customer profile And it does. You know, you could have 2 or 3 on there, couldn't you? 2 or 3 different customer profiles, and you could target each one on a different day, or you know, it's
yeah, absolutely. And you just got to make that decision. You're going to go right. You might go, I'm targeting certain customers on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. Maybe you want to go get all your residential work from those places. You go, but actually, maybe I want to start moving my business and start picking up some more commercial contracts. And you go, right, well, let's use LinkedIn for that. Let's first off, let's go and follow all the big house builders. Let's have a look at all the local architects around me, because they're all going to be on LinkedIn. And they're all going to be posting about their new projects and stuff, because like all social media, people love bragging about what they're doing. So you can be sure that if you go on and search Taylor Wimpey on LinkedIn, then you'll find something marvelous about their latest build and everything like that. So you can get in on at that level and start doing what I advise on all social media networks. I start engaging in conversation with them. I bet nobody puts comments on Red Rose posts. Because they're probably all dull. So if you're that guy that keeps popping up, putting comments on their posts and stuff, you're quickly going to get noticed. And that's one of the things I think with LinkedIn, is you can get noticed pretty quick.
But to be fair, this goes back to the tactics that our mutual friend, I say it like we know him, but Gary V, that's exactly what he did for years, wasn't it? With his wine,
100%.
was just comment on any post that he saw. Wasn't it? He reckons he spent, what was it, 2 or 3 hours a night just posting and replying to posts and just getting his name out there.
Yeah, his $1.80 marketing strategy, which is you put your 2 cents in 90 times a day. So you have to put your 2 cents in 90 times a day. You put a comment on people's feeds and posts and stuff like that. Do that 90 times a day, every single day. That's your $1.80 a day. That's how he did it, which is, yeah, is a superb way of building a following and engaging with people and stuff like that. I did it for a long time when I was starting up what I've been doing, my social media networks and stuff like that. And it helped me grow and understand the market so much better just by taking that time to just read people's posts and comment on them and start talking to them and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think most of the people listening or watching this are going to sit there. I think there's no way I'm sitting on LinkedIn for 2 hours a day, but I think you can achieve.
I don't think you have to sit. I don't think you have to do 2 hours a day.
No.
If you do 10 minutes, you're still doing 10 minutes more than you would have done. You know, and that's what I say. If people want to start a business, they want to do this, and they want. Oh, you got me right. I'll be yours now, but stop talking about it. Spend 10 minutes a day, half an hour, doing what you want to do. That 10 minutes, that hour, at least is 10 minutes an hour that you wouldn't have done, and you're an hour closer to doing what you want to do. Do something rather than nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's just start taking action. And even if it's, 10-15 minutes a day is all I'd ever advise for social media and stuff like that. You can get pretty much everything you want to do done in 10 or 15 minutes. But the key is do it every single day. And don't let it slip. And if you have to find just somewhere in your day, in your diary, when you're going to do it, it might be the last thing that you do before you go to bed is 15 minutes. You might do it while you're sat on the toilet, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you just do 10 minutes a day and just make those 10 minutes count. Let's be honest, most people sit dawdling on social media for hours a day anyway, just scrolling through posts. Instead of doing that, just go, right, these next 15 minutes I'm going to dedicate to work social media. I'm going to comment on every post I see where I can put a thoughtful comment on there and add my 2 cents in. I think if you get into the habit of doing that, you'll start making some waves very quickly. Like I say, nobody posts on LinkedIn. LinkedIn especially. So if you're there constantly putting content up, LinkedIn are going to start putting your content in front of a lot of people, and you can get your name out there. And I think for decorators, there's an opportunity for some people to take this by the scruff of the neck and really own the whole platform.
So you mentioned get in touch with local architects and people like that. Is there a way on LinkedIn to be able to search? Like you can on Facebook for like local people.
Yeah, you can do everything like that. You can search by job titles and stuff. Some of the features you got to pay for.
Yeah.
I don't. I've never paid for the pro versions or anything like that. I think you can do pretty much everything you want on the basic version. I mean, what have you done? Have you ever tried reaching out to people like that? Have you been
No, I've
sending that?
never gone that route. But that was going to be my next question. You've got people in your that you're connected to. Is it worth approaching those? Because the thing that annoys me is you find someone that wants to connect to you, and the next minute, you just get loads of direct messages, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You think, well, I haven't. We've not built a relationship. It's like you just straight in for the kill, and that just turns you off. You think, oh, well, why? And 9 times out of 10, it's just you don't bother replying, and you think, well, why are you doing that? Well, let's get to know each other first, or it just seems a little bit not rude, but just a bit unprofessional. It's
it sort of severs the relationship straight away, because after that you just think, oh, I don't really want to speak to you now, or I don't want to come back to you in 6 months' time, because then I've got to go, oh yeah, sorry, I didn't respond to your initial message.
It just makes it awkward for both parties, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I made this mistake a lot when I first started using LinkedIn, however many years ago. So I went on there, bright-eyed salesman. I was like, right, LinkedIn, brilliant. Let's join up. Oh, perfect. Everybody I've ever wanted to speak to in all the big companies at Tesco and all this and everything like that. Oh, they're there. Fantastic.
Car back. I don't need my company car. I'm going to sit here all day. Yeah.
Brilliant, super. Let's send out a connection request of flipping everybody on my dream list of customers. Yeah, most of them don't do it. And then, a few have connected. Bang, straight in. Right. What do you want to buy then, Mr. Tesco? I've been waiting to speak to you. And then, as you might imagine, nobody come back to me. And I was like, oh. And then I sat there just going, oh, this is fucking bullshit. This is absolute rubbish. I mean, this is supposed to be a professional network where business gets done. I'm trying to sell something. That's business. Why is business not getting done?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was me completely forgetting that it's social media and you need to be social. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. And now anyone that sends you that, like you connect with them and they just send you an immediate message, you think, oh, what's the point? And most of it's just auto-generated anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah, it's not even personal. They've not even sat there and typed it. It just comes straight to you.
The only thing you can do that is just about passable is if they just send you a message just going, oh, thanks, appreciate connecting with you. If there's anything I can do for you, feel free to get in touch.
Exactly.
But never go straight in with a sales pitch, and that's the same as if you're trying to approach any big company or anything like that, or any architect, you can't just go connect with them and just send them a message straight away. The quickest the shortest amount of time I'd leave it would be at least a month, and in that month I would want to be commenting on their posts, and then I'd wait to make sure that they're engaging with me and there's some sort of dialogue going on, even if it's just in the comments section. And then maybe a few weeks, months down the line, then you can build up and go, right, I'm going to slide into the DMs now and see what's going on.
Would that be a good idea as well? Maybe to pick your sort of 3 to 5, 7 ideal customers or companies you want to work with, and then just concentrate for a month, trying to form a connection with those 7 or 5, rather than trying to be everything to everybody. Rather, just have like 5 to 7 people or companies that you'd like to be involved with. And just concentrate on those for a while, see if you can build some sort of relationship. Would that be rather than the scattergun approach of trying to comment on on everybody's? So
otherwise it'll become unmanageable.
I'm thinking rather quality rather than quantity.
I mean, if you're someone like me and you're just sat at a desk drinking coffee all day, then you could focus on 100 people at once and keep doing all that. But
if you've got 15 minutes of an evening,
exactly, you've got a proper job, you've got more important things to do. So I would maybe start with trying to make a list of like your top 100 people that you want to connect with, and maybe you could even send out a connection request to those 100 people, but half of them might connect with you, maybe less than that. You'd probably then whittle that down to your top 20, probably then whittle that down further to, right, let's focus on these 10 to start focusing your time on those 10, and in a couple of months, if nothing's really happened, then you move on to the other 10. But yeah, narrow it down, and you're better off focusing on a few key clients than, like you say, taking that scattergun approach.
And to be honest, how many new customers do you need? If they're commercial customers, how much work or how many new customers are you gonna realistically need?
Well, this is it. I put a poll out the other day to see how many sole trader painters and decorators, how many regular customers they have, and average was about 30. They have about 30 customers. So you probably deal with one customer a week each year.
Yeah.
Nearly all of your business is coming from your regular customers. So all you're ever looking for is just to replace a couple of your worst customers with a couple of new, better customers. So you don't need to go, I need to find 100 new customers this month. That's not the game that decorators are in. All you've got to do is just every now and then pick up a new, better customer and push out your rubbish one at the bottom.
Raise the standard of the customers you do work for.
Exactly, and then 10 years down the line, you've raised it a lot. You've raised your whole group of customers.
Because I read somewhere, I thought, I don't know, is it true? I think each customer a decorator had was worth, I think, was it £100 a year or something? No, must be £500 a year on average. Does that sound about right or not?
How much your average customer value is
per
year?
For every customer you've got on your customer list, they're worth £500 to you a year.
Well, yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it? If you maybe do a £500 job for them once a year, or a £1,000 job for them every 2 years.
Yeah, so
sounds about right, doesn't it? So it's the other thing you then got to look at is the lifetime value of that customer. How long does a customer usually stay with you? Because if it's like 10 years, then every customer's worth £5,000 to you, so it's worth investing some time and effort into finding good customers.
Yeah, and looking after the ones you have got, which I think as decorators we are terrible at. I don't think we look after our customers anywhere near like we should.
I think what I see is everyone does a really good job, and they go way above and beyond, and they'll do an amazing job and rarely charge as much as they should, and then they'll do the same again next time they get contacted. But there's nothing in the middle. There's no communication. There's no regular, let's drop them an email, let's send them a Christmas card or whatever. I know some people do, but there's no reason why you couldn't be sending a monthly email to all your customers just to keep your hand in with them. And
I think a lot of decorators' attitude is, well, they know who I am. If they want me, they'll call me.
Yeah, but exactly.
But it's not always that. All it takes is for someone to put a leaflet through the door, or someone to get that checker trade leaflet. Checker trade. That's a whole new topic. I'll add that to the list. A checker trade leaflet through the door, and we've got that. Yeah, look, there's a painter there. Should we give him a call? And it is, isn't it? But if you stay in contact,
and people forget. I mean, if you do some work and then 12 or 24 months later, that customer goes, I need to get another decorator in. What was that guy's name? Tom, Tim? No, I can't remember. And if you can't remember, it was Trev Mangan, TJ Decor. Then they're going to struggle to find you again.
Yeah.
And then in that exact case, is all it takes is a leaflet to come through their door from one of your competitors, and that's it. Customer's gone.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I always used to send out Christmas cards, but then I got told that that's not a lot of people have different. I know a lot of people have had a lot of success with Christmas cards, but I was told they seem to get sort of after Christmas, 12 days after Christmas, they all get scooped up and thrown out. So they do get swept up with everybody else's Christmas card that got sent. So, I mean, this is a whole new podcast here in it. What's the best promotional materials to use?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I think that's pretty good. I think we've done a good job on LinkedIn for decorators there.
Do you think so?
What's the final verdict? What's your final verdict?
This is what I was going to say. What would you say would be the top 3 things to do on LinkedIn? Be consistent.
Yeah.
Target 5 to 7 ideal. Well, no. Well, basically, however many sort of customers you're happy or you're comfortable, contacting for 15 minutes a day.
And the thing is, as soon as you start, say you pick like 3 or 4 customers that you want to really hone in on, as soon as you start commenting on their posts, then the LinkedIn algorithm will go, he really likes the posts from Taylor Wimpey or this specific architect. And then, what do you know, every time you turn your LinkedIn on, top of your feed is going to be posts from those people because they're the ones that you regularly engage with. So LinkedIn will show you them first. Yeah, exactly. It will become you do it for a few days and then you'll just go, well, all the stuff I need to comment on is at the top of my feed every day anyway. This is taking me 2 minutes to do. So yeah, be consistent. Focus on a few people. What else are you taking from it?
Try and connect with the right people, but also tagging other people in your posts is quite a good one as well, isn't it? So I tag you quite often.
You do that. Mine. Yeah, and I always give you a little share, but that's because I love you. Exactly. Yeah, you can do that. It works well. I wouldn't overdo it. I would. You stumbled onto a good point there. One of the things that really gets me is decorators will come to me and say, they don't get much out of social media. And then you go, what sort of people do you follow on social media? And they go, what, other decorators? You're like, well, you're not going to get any customers from other decorators, are you? So if you're going to go on LinkedIn, yeah, sure, follow another couple of decorators because you might, pick up tips and stuff like that. But remember very clearly who you're trying to get as a customer here. This is a business thing for you. So make sure you're following people that might buy from you. And unfortunately, other decorators are never going to buy from you. So yeah, follow the right type of people. This is again is the problem in it is actually where do you find, what forums do your customers frequent? Got that out in the end. Nice.
Because we spoke earlier today, and I know a certain female decorator who's made an absolute killing on Facebook forums for mums.
Yeah.
She's gone on there. She's promoted herself. And she, like I say, she has got it absolutely buttoned up. She's found her niche. She's other women relate to her because she's a mum, and yeah, I don't think she moves far off of those sort of those Facebook forums, and she generates loads of work from them. Whereas, as a bloke, for us to go on there, I think we're a bit of a disadvantage to start with.
Well, no, not at all. You just got to find your niche. So you go, right, well, I'm going to look for all the forums all over the internet for people that live in Alton or whatever backward village you live in. Or you can go, I'm gonna join a group for blokes with beards and hats. And
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And you'll fit right in. And then that's your people, and you can like that certain decorator has done. You can absolutely sew it up, and fair play to her. She's done that brilliantly well. I think any bloke can do the same thing. You just got to find where your niche is.
The trouble is, though, John, I'm not being sexist. Although, I'm not being sexist. It's like, I'm not racist, but I'm not being sexist.
Yeah. But this is episode 1, and you're going to say something sexist.
No. Well, no, but 99 times out of 100, decorators deal with the woman. They hardly ever deal with the husband. Mm-hmm. So our target market is not going to be. We need to be talking to their housewives, because generally any bloke with any sense will go along with what his wife wants. So as long as she's happy, generally he'll go, he'll pay for it. That's another sexist comment. He'll probably go to the joint account. But no, you know what I'm saying? Blokes are not our target market as decorators. It's generally women that, So
you got to work out where to find them, and and it's not all
I
just
tried
in
Tinder
yummy
once. That didn't work out too well. No, but yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
If you listen to our podcast, we quite often talk about Mumsnet.
Right. Listen here, mate. I invite you on.
I'm sorry, I didn't mention it, but I'm just saying.
Plugging his own podcast.
But I mean, Mumsnet is ideal. Yeah. I think that's another target, but I found it's a little bit of a minefield.
Well, I mean, look, it's not there for you, so you got to focus on something else, put your efforts into something else, or employ your wife and get her to talk to people.
But I just wondered if there was. I mean, it might be a good one. Maybe people could actually tell us how they're using their social media to overcome this. Whereas, again, bringing it back to LinkedIn.
Yes, please do.
That is not so important, is it? Because generally, it's more of a business platform, and you're more of an equal foot in there. I think. Yeah. Brought that around quite nicely, didn't we? Well, there.
Yeah, you've absolutely nailed it. Yeah. I think LinkedIn. There are groups and stuff like that on there, but I'm not in any. I don't think they're anywhere near as popular as like Facebook groups and things like that. But...
No, and I do, because you're going to get 50-50, I mean, probably even more of both sexes being in charge of projects. So, and it's not such a commercial project. Is not as touchy-feely as a domestic, is it? If you see what I mean, it's not hands-on and we need this here and we need I want this and I want that. Generally, a commercial job is more set in stone. People know what they want. There's a sort of more of a what do you call it? More of a defined result that's required, rather than you're going to work for Mrs. Jones and she's not too sure whether she wants Misty Buff or if she wants wood flock grey or whatever. Whereas you go and work for a commercial, you've got a spec, you know what you're doing. Everybody's got their job, what's what. Everything's defined from the start.
So what you're saying is men need to start going after commercial work because women are going to take over the industry on residential.
Is that what I'm saying?
Do you know what? I've told this to a few people. I tell you what, this is a controversial one for episode 1. I think within the next 10, 15, 20 years, I think there will be a huge amount of women who will start coming into this industry, and I think they'll absolutely blitz it and take it away because they won't be afraid to. They'll be able to communicate better to, like you say, if all of your decision makers are the women in the house, they'll be able to communicate better. I think with the rise of spraying, every female decorator I'm talking to, spraying's like the first thing they get into, and they're more willing to do that because they don't want to do you don't need to do the whole sanding down by hand anymore, and there's not this badge of honor of working until your knuckles have gone raw.
Yeah, you're right.
So women are coming into the industry, they're bringing a lot more to the table, and they're using more up-to-date tools and everything like that. So,
and funny you say, and also they are far more willing to get involved. I know this is, they are far more willing to get involved and talk about colour, which is something that male decorators, are shit scared of.
Yeah,
they are. They just don't. They don't know.
Everyone just runs away from it, don't they? Every time I mention, you should maybe. What about trying, a colour consultation stuff? Every comment I get back is, no way, don't touch it, don't get involved with colour, because if they don't like it, it's your fault. Blah, 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 blah. All right, well, do you know what? At some point, someone's going to come in and they're going to start talking about colour, and they're probably going to start charging for that service. So not only are they going to start taking away work from you, but they're going to be charging more for it as well.
And this is, like I say again, this is where the female decorators are going to make a killing because they're not frightened. They are more willing to sit down and talk about colour, and it's nothing blokes can't do, but they just, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I don't know what it is. There is a market there for it. If only you just sort of, get a bit more confident with it, and it's not that difficult. I know a bloke that used to work for an interior designer, and he said the interior designer he worked for had 4 or 5 standard colour schemes, and that was it. And wherever they were, if it was a lounge, it'd be this. If it was the bedroom, it'd probably be that. And so that's all you need to do. And if you all you got to do is a few mood boards on and just get some ideas together. You haven't got to be, Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen with frilly cuffs and all that. Just get a few basic colour schemes together and some ideas to go with.
Easy.
Try it.
Right. Trev,
so
final
we've gone
verdict.
away from LinkedIn, haven't we?
Final verdict. LinkedIn, yes or no? Should decorators be on it?
I think it's if you're looking for commercial work, then it's probably the only place you really need to be, I would have thought.
Yes to commercial, no to residential?
No, I'm not going to say no to residential. There's obviously going to be lettings companies on there.
Yeah.
So at least or rental companies. Yeah. So no, there's a good. I would say more commercial, but there's definitely residential on there too. And I do think it's worth spending 15 minutes a day just to make the effort to try and generate some more interest or some work. Definitely.
100% agree. Right, so final verdict then. LinkedIn, yes, for commercial and residential.
Yes.
Spend 10-15 minutes a day engaging with people on social media, and women are going to take over the industry. So watch out, you heard it here first. That's a nice first episode. Right, Trev, got anything you want to plug while you're here before we go?
Well, no, I've done the podcast, so we won't be doing that. I've got a YouTube channel, which you probably know, Paint and Decorating Tips by TJ. Have a look at that. Got some spraying videos and all sorts on there. That's about all, really, on Twitter.
Podcast is 2 decks, 1 mic, and you should definitely listen to it. Because they are very... the first ones are a bit dodgy on the audio, though. Which episode should they join?
I think the third. Yeah, we probably from about through the 3rd or 4th episode. So
just listen to them all. They're all good anyway.
Exactly. Right. Thank you very much, John. It's very nice talking to you.
Thank you, mate. All right, last bit from me then. If you want to get my free ebook, go to jmears.co.uk/ebook. Join my list. You can get a free ebook. Next episode we'll be talking about something. Don't know why, don't know what, because we don't plan that far in front. Hope you're good. Cheers, guys. See you later. Bye bye.
Thanks a lot. Take care.